I was alone, in the middle of the night, in a country I didn't know. I stood up and looked around, then sat down on the sidewalk. Maybe they would come back for me. I waited the entire night, slowly realizing that no one was going to return. At dawn, I got up and wandered around. I retraced my steps to the place where we had fought the night before. It seemed they had taken everything and moved on without me. I walked the streets alone and found a new bag and some clothes that fit me. I quickly changed and filled the bag with clothes. Outside the city, I met a few farmers who were kind enough to give me some of their fruits. They had horses and were heading west. Thankfully, they allowed me to travel with them for a few days. Eventually, our paths diverged. My journey to the West Coast took a little over 2 months. Sometimes I traveled with small groups. Sometimes they had horses and a carriage, which was a nice change. Finally, I made it to Los Angeles. The first night, I slept on the beach. I felt a little relieved and even happy because this was the place I had dreamed of visiting since I was a child. I never imagined it would be under these circumstances, but at that moment, I didn't care. Another week passed. Running, fighting, and hiding from the shadow creatures and larger groups of humans became routine for everyone. Some tried to work, trading food or clothes, but I didn't just want to survive. I wanted to live. Most days I sat on the beach or tried to write songs, always on the lookout for a guitar. One night, as I sat on the beach, hungry from not eating for a while, I heard a familiar voice. A guy I had never seen before approached me and handed me an apple, saying,
I heard your stomach from a mile away.
He smiled, and his deep blue eyes were almost hypnotic. I stood up, noticing he was at least 10 centimeters taller than me and definitely stronger, with a muscular build. I smiled back. He looked into my eyes, but it felt more like he was looking right into my soul.
I'm Noah, by the way.
He said. Just as I was about to reply, I recognized the voice I had heard earlier. Eva. She was standing with another guy behind Noah. They were clearly friends. Every muscle in my body tensed when I saw her. I roughly handed the apple back to Noah. More angrily than I had intended, I denied. I grabbed my bag and walked away. Eva tried to say something, but I silenced her with a raised hand. I left and headed back to my little hideout in the city. I turned a small apartment on the top floor into my own little sanctuary. It was the only door in the building that was still intact. Over time, I began experimenting with what else the bracelet could do.